We are programmed to do certain things. We have been trained to be a workforce. It's just certain things we just don't do. We're used to going to work and then paying our bills. And at the end of the month, sometimes we don't have enough money left because we're spending and spending and spending. But this program taught us to take the little money that you do have left and put it over in a high yield savings account so that can grow. Leave it alone. Treat it like a bill. Is put that over there, and before you know it, it grows and grows and grows. And here's the problem.
What keeps you up at night? Do you find yourself worried about debt, retirement, or whether your money's working for you or just for the bank? I'm Dale Dix, your host. Welcome to the Converting Debt to Wealth podcast. We're forward thinkers committed to achieving financial independence. Come to learn how to bank like the bank instead of for the bank. Hello, and welcome back to the show, the Converting Debt to Wealth podcast. My name is Dale Dix, your host, and as always, in the words of one of my heroes, Mr. Les Brown, if you want to be successful at anything in life, you gotta be hungry. We're delighted to have our guest today, Mr. Chuck Carthen, a graduate of Morehead State University with a major in music. Joined the Air Force in 1974 and stayed as a career musician. Entered into the computer tech world as a branch chief with FDIC and Innolog. Later became self-employed in 2002 as a multi-level marketer and has never looked back. He's currently an agent for United Financial Freedom, helping people accumulate wealth and eliminate debt simultaneously, spending the same dollar twice. Chuck is the Chief Executive Officer at CITW Productions. Chuck, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, Dale Dix. It's good to see you again.
Great to have you. Well, as you might imagine, Chuck, we've got an audience with a real appetite for learning and just being informed. So let's get this party started. Let's start out with this question, Chuck. Can you give us a 90-second or so overview, who you are, a little about your business, and just what compelled you to pursue this particular business?
Well, certainly can. My business consists of software that assists clients in debt elimination. So there are no emotions, no funny feelings, just pure number calculations based on what you have to help. You eliminate paying more for what you buy to getting you completely out of debt. Most people have never experienced being completely out of debt, Dale, and therefore they might consider it impossible to achieve. But I am here to tell you that the program took me from 30 years of almost double of what I owed to 7.3 years completely out of debt and 22.7 years to build additional wealth. I got involved with this business because I could not comprehend how much money it was saving me until I was using the program. So my intent was never to become an agent, but when some things work so well, you have to tell people. And I was telling everybody I knew. In so doing, I became an agent and started earning income. I've been engaged ever since. So far, I've been able to keep over $263,000 since 2010 with the potential of over $327,000. And this is why I got involved with my business.
Great. That sounds wonderful. And as it turns out, Chuck, I know your story, and I must say you have, in terms of being a user of the product, you have one of the most amazing stories that I've ever witnessed personally.
Well, thank you, Dale.
You're welcome. In terms of, how would you define your product? Is it a program? Is it a software? Does it use AI?
In my opinion, it definitely uses AI, but that's just me. It is a software program, and it sticks with you until you're out of debt. And all you have to do is follow what it's telling you to do. So you get the software program, you put in your numbers, and you follow along.
Is it
And I've
like a
been doing that
GPS
for
on the
years.
car? Is it
Huh?
Does it work like the GPS? I think I've heard you refer to it before as a GPS, a financial GPS. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, actually, you know what a GPS does.
Right.
So even at night, when you're trying to get from one spot to another, you turn on your GPS and you follow the instructions. It tells you exactly where to go and exactly where to turn. You can even see streets, the name of streets in the dark. And so I'm saying all that because the program is basically like that. It sees things that you don't see. And so if you follow what it's telling you to do, you'll end up getting to your destination a whole lot sooner than guessing. GPS is something that allows you to get from one spot to another just by following the directions. And that's what the software does. It's very dynamic in nature. So basically, that's why I say yes, it's definitely AI. I knew it was AI back in 2010 when I first started using it, but people weren't calling it that then. Now that's all I hear people talk about, AI.
I understand. And as a fellow military man, would it be fair to say that it's like having night vision goggles for your finances?
I like that. Night vision goggles. Pretty good. I would say so. Yeah, because it just sees things you just don't see. And if you pay attention to it, you'll get to where you're trying to go, you know.
Okay, very, very good, very good. What would you say, Chuck, is your major superpower?
Tell you this. I do have a God-given ability to understand how to arrange for large orchestras. So I would basically say, Dale, that my superpower that God gave me is the ability to hear music, analyze it, write it down, play it. I have the innate ability to write in any key, and I use what is known in music world as movable do, and I don't have perfect pitch. So I'm what you call, or I call it key blind. But I am able to write in any key for any instrument. So that's a major superpower to me. But if I were at least if everything was left up to me, I would rather like to be able to look at a chart in a stock market, analyze that chart, and know exactly where the price is about to go based on what I see. I would love to have like that superpower, 95% rate, and accurately be able to do that. I'd settle for 90%.
Mhm.
And I would like to be able to implement that order every time without fear or stress. No guessing. With that being said,
Yeah,
I believe anyone would love to have a superpower like that, or one where they could talk to anybody at any time to get them to at least try out whatever product they were using.
okay, bringing it back to the debt elimination program, how would you say that superpower has helped you most in your experience as a user of the debt elimination software as well as promoting the debt elimination software?
Oh, well, it's very interesting. I know that I get overjoyed whenever somebody uh, is is coming at me and they got issues or they want to share. So a lot of times I'll just start talking about the problems, but I find out that most of the time, unfortunately for me, over the years, many people uh, uh, just don't do certain things. So they don't make a move. That superpower that you're talking about, a lot of times just me talking. I don't know. I don't know if it's something that people are thinking about. And so I need to, I guess, sharpen those blades up, because I have not always been successful in that concept, content, creation, cash. If people don't understand that process, creation, then the cash just won't be generated. So I don't know if my superpower helped them. It's more like a selfish kind of superpower. I sit in a room by myself. I'm hoping I'm answering your question correctly.
Well, that's fine. I have a follow-on question
Okay.
because I know that your product is a software slash program, which suggests to me that some type of computer skills might serve you well using that product and talking about it. Can you speak to that for just a moment?
As far as computer skills are concerned, what are you saying?
And how your superpower, your musical background, facilitates your ability to adapt to software and programming.
Okay. Okay. I buy a lot of software programs. I've been buying software programs since the 80s, and it's usually like music programs that deals with MIDI, it deals with MIDI and notes. So usually when I come to a program, oh my goodness, I can see it already. Are you familiar with Check Free? Have you ever heard a program
Yeah.
called
Yes,
Check
I have.
Free?
Years ago.
What about it's not PayPal, but it's what you do at Navy Federal Credit Union when you pay your bills?
I'm not sure.
Got something to do with paying your bills at a Navy Federal Credit Union.
Auto pay or direct pay, something like that?
Some kind of pay.
Yeah, okay, okay,
And that came from a program called Quicken and Check Free, believe it or not.
okay.
So way back during the day in the 80s, I was using a program called Check Free. And then Quicken decided to start doing some things like that. And then I got involved with Quicken. And then Quicken 4, what it was doing is I had to pay in order to have it pay my bills. And so eventually, Navy Federal Credit Union adopted it, gave it another name, and before you know it, I was using them. So, as far as our program is concerned, I have been helped because I've always used software, but these were static in nature. When I say that, what I'm saying is they weren't telling me how to get out of debt. They were just telling me what my balance was at the end of the month.
Right, they weren't exactly dynamic.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Mhm.
They were not dynamic in nature. They just telling me what my balance was. Or when I, in 2010, looked into uh, the United Financial Freedom Money Merge account, I was just totally floored. In fact, I felt like I was playing a chess game. And I said, I would have never made that move. I would have never done that.
Yeah.
I could see that early on. Do what? I would have never done that. And so very dynamic. I would do the move and then I'd scratch my head because I just wasn't understanding until I started studying that amortization table, which is a very important table to study when you begin to understand debt elimination. Other than that, you might think that all you're doing is spending your money to get out of debt and you don't see the money that you're giving away to the bank. You just don't see it.
Right, okay.
I did a loan on I did a loan on a HELOC. It was a 40-year term. That's
Mhm.
480 months, $150,000. And I come to find out that the interest on that loan, if you followed the bank's plan, was over $357,000.
Wow.
I could not believe I mean, see how hard that is to believe? But we are so, like, not in tune to the money that's being taken out of your back pocket
Right.
that we end up losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you know about my Slocum, that house, they wanted an extra $186,000 for that loan that I had with them, and they only got 34,000.
Wow.
So this is why you hear me talking and talking all the time. Plus, I'm older, and so I don't have a lot of time left on this planet. And to not have to give the bank, follow me here now, 23 years more of money was just absolutely mind boggling. And so I have also been able to create the wealth because I got that money coming to me to do other things. Did that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and I hope, our listeners are listening because, it's text. I mean, in terms of how much it saves you, the power of the software when it comes to your finances. Okay, another question, are there any frameworks or processes that you use to get better results than your competitors?
Unfortunately, I'm going to say on that one, no. I've seen over the years many people get much better results than myself, but I was unable to duplicate that effort. So it's a process for turning what you already know into something people will pay for. And that has not happened to me. So I can't speak on it. I'm sorry.
Not a problem. I think what if I hear you correctly, you're saying that with all the huge success that you have had with the product, that you've not been as successful and fortunate to convey that to others in a way that they will grasp it and run with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I
Thank you, sir. Thanks
that's
for
under
clearing that one up.
Yeah, well, that's a common challenge that we run into in the sales industry, So, Chuck, what are some other major ways that you customize your services for businesses, owners, and specifically for high performers? Is there anything that you can speak to there?
It's absolutely nothing that I tell you why. Because it's almost like, have you ever heard the term, don't reinvent the wheel?
Yes.
Okay. So these guys, I call them the Utah boys, have done so well with their program that it's nothing major that I can customize that to that I understand. All I
Right.
know is I have it and you can have it. And if you use it, you're going to do well. Nothing for me. I mean, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. So I don't have any major ways that you can customize your I can customize my services for businesses. And I don't, but
Okay.
I know it would help me if I did, probably.
Yeah, one thing based on what little I know, and I know perhaps more than I'm giving myself credit for knowing right now, but in terms of you could stretch customization and talk about it in terms of, typically my understanding is typically the typical customer are individuals or families, households. However, I'm thinking that the product also lends itself to use by small business owners, real estate investors, folks who don't automatically necessarily come to mind when we think about the product itself and the service. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir, I sure would. Now, I would love to have a chance to at least communicate and talk to those business owners. That would be incredible.
All right. Chuck, what is one thing that you're proudest of when it comes to your business?
Okay. Okay. First of all, I'm proud that two best friends had a vision to even start a business like United Financial Freedom Money Merge account. That was a huge endeavor and also a challenge to attract clients who actually believed in the concept. Secondly, I'm very proud that they allowed ordinary people, such as myself, to participate in growing their business. The entire process has taught me a lot about myself, my desires, my fears, my weaknesses, and also my triumphs as well. So I know you asked for one thing, but I had to include that final piece just for completion.
That's fine. That's fine. And I don't think we've touched on it thus far, Chuck, but how long has this company been around?
My goodness. I'm going to say they started out in 2004, uh, and they did a beta test in Utah, or was it Colorado?
It was Denver, Colorado.
Thank you so much. And then I heard about them in 2006, and then I got involved in 2010. Here it is, 2026, and they still have a brick building in Utah. They're very, very, very. They're still very, very concrete. So it's been a while. That's 20 years, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, it's been 20 years. It's been just over 20 years. It's been about 22 years.
Yeah.
You go back to 2004. And Chuck, if you would, for the benefit of our audience, when you purchased the product, how many years did you have remaining on your mortgage at the time? And how long did it take you to get totally out of debt?
Well, this is the funny part. So I need to back up a little bit so you can see what happens. My friend in Kentucky in 2006 introduced me to the program. I scratched my head for 4 years. Couldn't wait. No, no, you got to know this. Down on my luck, living in an apartment, two-bedroom apartment with people over my head, trash right outside, folks making noise all the time. And I couldn't wait to buy a house. Actually, I think I've had 4 houses in my lifetime. 4, but the third one was absolutely incredible. I couldn't wait to leave that apartment just to buy a house.
Right.
And by the end of 2009, I got the house. And so that's why I always say 2010, because I can add it up quickly. and I was out of debt in 7.3 years. And that's what I was saying earlier. Following that program, just like a map, just like a guided map, you know.
Hmm.
Other than that, was Earl Nightingale, what did he just say? Like you're in the water in a boat without a rudder, just
Yeah.
just going in circles and stuff like that. But if you have a plan, I just followed their plan. And this is very difficult because a lot of us don't have plans. So as I grow and I hear people say, well, we don't plan to fail, we just fail to plan. I say that is so true. People say it and it can go in one ear and out the other, but for some reason it sticks with me.
Okay.
We don't plan to fail, we just fail to plan. And with that software, I had a plan. And the strategy was, we're gonna get you out of debt. It said 11.4 years. That's what it said. But I was out of debt in 7.3.
Okay, that's a great story. And Chuck, for our listeners who, I mean, I can see them out there scratching their heads and saying this is sounds too good to be true. And I know they're probably thinking that, well, how much money, extra money does one have to come up with, in order to cut the time to pay off a 30-year mortgage? You had 30 years left on it when you came into the program.
I sure did.
So talk about how to achieve those results impacted your cash flow and your quality of life.
Do you remember when I said to you earlier that we are programmed to do certain things? We have been trained to be a workforce. It's just certain things we just don't do. And we're used to going to work and then paying our bills. And at the end of the month, sometimes we don't have enough money left because we're spending and spending and spending. But this program taught us to take the little money that you do have left and put it over in a high yield savings account so that that can grow. Leave it alone. Treat it like a bill. Is put that over there, and before you know it, it grows and grows and grows. And here's the problem. It's almost like temptation. Can I take this money that it has grown to? Can I take that $10,000 and give it away? Can I take that $5,000 and put it towards my debt? That's the thing. Because in the back of our mind, we're fearful and we're wondering, oh, might not have a job, and all of this stuff is coming up. And so people won't do anything. But for me, I followed the strategy, and the Lord always took care of me. I never had any problem with getting a check. And I was retired. I was getting that check. Social Security, I was getting that check. I was working for another organization. I was getting that check. So I did have money. And what you usually do when you have money, you go out and you entertain and you spend it. And you spend it on, I call it foolishness.
Hmm.
You might not think like that, but this program kept me from doing that. So that's why I was able to pay off the debt, because other than that, the money was going to go somewhere else. And the company will tell you, you got the money, you're just spending it, putting it in the wrong places. And they were telling the truth. Obviously, I had the money, didn't even know it.
Right. So would you say that can you with confidence say to your prospective client or client that you can do this? Is there anything we can do or you can do up front to assure the client what the product might be able to do for them? Any kind of analysis that is done up front to say, hey, we think you can do this because here are the results of an analysis or some assessment.
We do have an analysis report. I have not given this any great thought, but we do have analysis report that allow the client to see how much they can save. Now, you said something very important, like uh, how do I convince you that you can do this? And that's
Encourage me,
my. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
or at least encourage me that this is something that's within my ability.
Okay. Now I have to always go back to myself. This could be one of my Achilles heels, Dale. When I first looked at the program, I had all of those questions. You got all these things going in your head. Can I do this myself? That was a big
Yeah.
question. How could I do it myself? I didn't even know how it worked. Okay. How could I do it myself? What caused me to purchase this program without without a shadow of a doubt, without blinking my eye, because I needed these mentors to show me how to do it, because I knew I couldn't do it by myself. Because of that, I have a problem with a person that is not trying to seek truth for themselves, which is a very, very good word, by the way. The truth will make you free. It definitely will. So, but you have to seek it for yourself. And that way it won't be on my shoulders to convince you that what I'm telling you is the truth. You'll know that it's the truth by you doing something about it yourself. Does that make sense? Sometimes I don't make sense when I talk.
Well, I'm going to help you with that. I'm going to lead you to where I need you to go. So, I'm sitting here. If I hadn't heard about this before, I'm thinking it's too good to be true. And I'm also concerned as to how much extra money is it going to take out of my budget over the course of 30 days or a month? How much extra money would I need to have left over at the end of the month in order for me to feel confident that this program will work for me? I mean, do I have to have a lot of money left over, or do I just have to have a little bit left over at the end of the month?
You only have to have a little bit of money left over at the end of the month.
Give me a
And
ballpark figure, please.
$150.
Okay, that's
I mean,
manageable.
that's a little bit of money to me.
Well, that's manageable. At least you give me a number. That's all I need to know.
And the thing is, once you see what you can do with a strategy and a plan, the sky's the limit.
I don't disagree.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Would you say it gives you, I know sometimes I've got so much going on financially in a given month that it's like I can't see the forest for the trees. Could this program help me with that?
Well, most definitely, sir. And that's my saving grace, because I have a lot of things going on as well. And so it's a lot of things I just can't keep on juggling on my own because I don't have the brain capacity. But this program got all that information right there, and it has saved me money many a times from late fees. If you've ever had a late fee before, from a bill that needed to be paid that you forgot about,
Mm-hmm.
it's right there in front of you. As soon as you pull up your program, you can look, and this thing is like looking for at least 3 months ahead of time. And you get to see stuff. All you have to do is plug in the right number. I got a Pepco bill, so I went in, I plugged it in. I got a Washington gas bill. I went in and I plugged it in. And so now that it has the information, it says, this is what you need to do. You're going to have $8 left over. So take that money and put it over here. Boom. Oh, man, it doesn't talk to me like that, but that's my little avatar voice that I hear.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing I know, this money is accumulated. My wife even said, how in the world where did that money come from? She had said this to me. I said, I'm just doing what program telling me to do. And they had always told me, you got the money, you just spending it wrong. I believe that.
Has the program, excuse me, has the program ever advised you to do something, make a particular move money from here to there, and you just couldn't see in your mind, you couldn't see how you could possibly move that much money over here and still make it through the end of the month?
Absolutely. Once you understand the program, you can allot for that. In other words, the program doesn't spend any of your money. You're the one in charge of your own funds. But if you say, look, I'm going to feel funny if I don't have $5,000 in this account. So you can allocate that account to stay at 5,000. And guess what? Program won't use that money. So anything above that, it will use. And so now you feel comfortable when the money is up here and you pull it out, because you're going to still have 5,000 in that account.
Chuck, does your program require my Social Security number?
No, it doesn't ask for none of your stuff.
How about account information?
It doesn't ask for your account numbers or anything. All it's looking for is how much you owe.
Well, is it going to move my money?
No, it doesn't move your money. You have to move your money.
Okay, so it tells me what to do, but if I don't do it, just like with a GPS, then it'll make the adjustment, recalculate, and send me on my way.
Exactly. And you have to be the one to make the turns.
Okay. Now, one last thing before we move on. If I needed, let's say something came up that was totally unexpected, required a major purchase on my part, how can the software be of help or assistance to me in a situation like that?
Well, you add that information into the software. They have tabs, and of course, they got budget, and of course, you got expenses and income. So you add that. They got an action plan. In fact, you can add that information on your action plan, and it will tell you what's going on with your money if it's gonna mess you up or not. It's
Mhm.
gonna tell you how much money you're gonna have left over, and if you're in the green, you're gonna be fine. If like you said, it's too much money or something like that, the program's gonna tell, well, you're gonna have enough money for at least the next 8 months or the next 4 months. It'll let you know that.
It almost sounds like it has a what if kind of capability, does it?
It does, because you can always delete whatever you put in. So you can put a what if in
Mhm.
and see what it's gonna do, and then you can go back and just delete it. See what I'm saying? So you're right back to where you started from. I
Okay.
love the program, I always have. It's 2026, I've had mine for 16 years, and I couldn't wait to get the next house. So my 4th house, we're down to, like, maybe 3.6 years on it, and we just moved in here 2018. I'm fired up about everything that has happened to me with this company and this program.
So this is the 8th year since you moved into your new home?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you this. Once my debts are gone, and I'm led to believe that that could happen in 10 or less years, then what? What can the software do for me then?
You can literally set it up to have it show you how to create more income. You can literally set it up to do that. But now, think about what you just said. You said, once my debts are gone, that means that every time you get a check, buddy, that's your money. So you can actually set up an account so that you could increase your savings,
Mhm.
and it can monitor that for you. Or you can actually set up another account where you got to put a certain amount in. It will monitor that. And basically, when you're completely out of debt, the rest is just nothing but you building wealth. And that's the thing that I have always been excited about, because according to the presentations I've seen, 1% could make you a millionaire, just 1%. And we have vehicles now that can get far more than that. So
Okay.
you have your money free and clear. Say debt free. Say debt free.
Debt
Free and
free.
clear. That money comes to you. And when the money comes to you, it's so much more you can do with it because it's your money. So you can have it sitting over here, but you're not going to have it sitting over there because you've been already trained by the best. So you're going to have your money somewhere else. You're not going to have it sitting in an account giving you 0.01%. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, and I can see how this program, after as well as while I'm still in debt, I can see how it could help me because I'm into the asset acquisition kind of business.
Okay.
That's my mindset. So I'm starting to see how this software or this program could actually, beyond getting out of debt, facilitate my desire and appetite to acquire more and more assets. I get in debt, I get out of debt quickly, and I just keep on. It's a cycle.
Yes.
It's a cycle. Okay. Well, hey, that about does it, Chuck. We've been here
All
for,
right.
for a little bit, man. It's been a great conversation. I want to thank you again for joining our show today. You've been a great guest, and you've left us with a lot to think about and a fond appreciation for your services. So I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Dale Dix.
Okay. And as always, in closing, folks, if what you knew to be true turned out not to be, when would you want to know? I want you to continue to join my podcast where we talk about everything money. And I want you to leave you with this. Remember, life is a journey. It's not a destination. And if you want to be successful at anything in life, you got to be home. We'll see you next time, folks. Thank you, Chuck. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
That concludes another episode of Converting Debt to Wealth. If today's conversation opened your eyes to what's possible, don't just file it away, apply it. Until we meet again, be intentional with every dollar. Refuse to run like a financial gazelle, but rather step fully into your power. as the lion of your financial destiny.